Hello and welcome back for the episode of Gregtech 6. Last episode I'll show you my setup of redstone to auto-ignite burning boxes. Today I'm gonna show you a new way to make iron, so let us go. As saw in the past, the normal way to make iron is using a crucible and using limonite or hematite or black sand or anything. Today we're gonna make a different method. First, we're going to start with a betting recipe using our little old friend hydrochloric acid. We put it into the bath here, like so. 24 units of it will be enough for now. Then we put a piece of limonite or hematite on side. In this case, let's put one limonite, and we're going to consume 2 acids and start the processing. And we're going to end up with this ferric chloride dust, and as you briefly saw, it also makes some water that has been extracted from below. And then it is sent into the mixer right there, but just one recipe won't do. So let's make all the rest of it and also the brown ones. Into the mixer, we need to put an iron dust and the ferric chloride dust, but only when it gets to 8 it's going to actually work. Now just one more and they are going to mix. Mix 80 ferric chloride with an iron dust and they're gonna make 9 ferrous chloride dust. Now this is gonna be inserted into a smelter, but because this smelter only has an input on the top, I have to do this little loop here. So then let's connect. And it should at some point send it to there, but because it is stopped for now, I do it manually. The other ones are going to be automatically. We put it here, and after being turned on by my auto-ignite setup, they're gonna get molten and then gonna be inserted into the electrolyzer here. And this will make 1 iron dust and 2 chlorides. The iron dust is gonna go into the top, into the little contraption here that uses a shutter cover that uses stainless steel, not much but more than aluminum, and this cover controller that is a circuit level 2 or higher comparator tin cable. And what I have here is a hopper set to only output 1 that's going to host the iron to be used into the mixer. And when in this little weight meter, when this is empty, you send a signal and allow the pipe to insert into the hopper first. Like it is now, it has 1, so it's not going to insert. If I remove it, it's now open to accept the iron. Very good. And any extra iron, because it's closed, go to the barrel. And this pipe here is going to extract the chlorine and get it all the way up ahead. Where we have this mixer here that's going to mix chlorine with water to produce the hydrochloric acid we had before, and some oxygen that is being extracted by below. So the acid is so this is a closed system, I should say. We have a battery box with two batteries for the electrolyzer and the igniter, and all the others operate with methane ethanol, and they don't need anything else. In this case here, the first batch of iron need to be manually added. Need to have at least one inside and one into the top. Now you saw that each limonite makes one ferric, but I have this hopper here to hold the materials, and it is set to 5, because hematite needs 5 of it. Placing 4 makes nothing, but 5 will actually make it a process, and as you saw, it consumed half of the amount. That's because it's actually going to make not 1, not 2, not 3, but actually 8 ferric stuff here. So this is gonna mix already when it's done, of course, because it's 80. 2 of force is gonna take longer. And one more thingy is that some setup I have placed into the top of it too. It is a bit different. We have here a sensor here into the top of the mixer to make the ferric. It is the activity detector success. That's made with a circuit of level 2 or higher, a button, headstone, tin cables, and the cover. What it does is that when it when it makes a product, it's gonna emit a weak headstone signal. I use a cutter to make it strong and invert it. So at this point, it is always emitting headstone, locking this hopper on. But when they make one recipe, it's going to briefly allow the hopper to inject another iron dust inside. And when this gets empty, it will open itself to receive another dust, so you can actually work this with the minimal amount required. If I don't do this, only when the machine had a 64 and the hopper 64, that they're gonna start to get iron. So, in this brief moment, we made 5 iron. Now with this setup, it made my sequenced alloy maker to make iron from hematite and limonite completely obsolete. I don't have any need for it anymore. And now with access to the smelter, even make invar and the stainless steel can be made into a more effective way. So into a point, this has been completely scrapped. This is now the new way to make iron. All I have to do is to connect the pipe, not the hopper, and connect the supply of items from my process line here, and it's going to keep making iron for me for while I have limonite or hematite. This is completely on their own. It's actually making a surplus of water here, and you also have the oxygen from here. So we are gaining water and oxygen to be. I just trusted this to be over at least 3 pieces of the iron side here. Or this system here might run out of iron to do the processing, because this thing here, while it is limonite, it is slow enough to actually keep on. But when you get more of it, like the hematite might be not be strong enough, and it has run out of the acid already. Now for the second part of it, we have the recycling of sulfur. Just as Bear showed in his videos, that when we use the roaster, we're gonna get the sulfur dioxide that then can be mixed with some air and a catalyst like vanadium pentoxide to make sulfur trioxide that you can mix with water to make sulfuric acid. But the thing is that you're gonna run this a lot more than you're actually going to use sulfuric acid, that most recipes actually allows you to utilize it. Just a few ones don't actually allow it. So you're always going to have a surplus, and as I showed in the previous episodes, I have an entire tank full of it, and I didn't know what to do with it. In most cases I would just avoid it, but Bear don't like to avoid stuff here, so he come here with this system here, where he takes a hydrogen gas and a sulfur to make the hydrosulfuric acid, and then combine the hydrosulfuric acid with the sulfur dioxide to make sulfur. And this recipe here of hydrogen with sulfur uses 1 sulfur and 2 hydrogen to make it 3 hydrosulfuric, and the hydrosulfuric uses 2 of it and 1 sulfur dioxide to make it 1 sulfur dust and water. So we're gonna have an extra liter here. So for every 2 recipes, that you get 1 extra sulfur. So you're actually condensing the sulfur into the sulfur from the dioxide into sulfur. There is, let's say, very little use for it. It is flammable, so if you want to use it as fuel, you can use it. And this is the roaster with the pipe going all the way here and arriving into this tank extender. The extender is working into a very interesting way. One of it that has a primary facing and a secondary facing. The primary is down here, and we're going to send the sulfur dioxide down here to fill this drum that's filling this mixer here. When the machine and the drum and the pipe are completely full, that this extender cannot be inserted here anymore, is going to start sending the rest of the gas into the secondary facing. So it's like an overflow gate all the way here to make the sulfur itself. As you can see, it's not working now because it is lacking the sulfur dioxide. But as I just said, I still have an entire tank of it to process. Once I put it here, it's going to start working there. And now it's already starting to feed in there. Something is not right here, maybe. That's one problem with the fuel. Basically, it is actually blocking here. I need to move it one back. So let's get some pipe here and fix it. There's a lot of minor fixings around. I cannot actually fix it. There's pipe running on the back, so I have to actually make this last adjustment here. Now this should be actually filling up. But as already saw, I am maxed into the sulfuric acid. I have 4 drums full of it. I don't think I'm gonna ever need so much of it. Still have some little here, and no more. I can now move this button for another place. And here I have a tank to merge the two things. I can actually fix. Without causing my setup to look horrendous. Yuck. So this is quite it. The reason why I made this is not because I actually want the sulfur from it, but just because I am actually getting too much hydrogen from my bathing recipes for the vitriol of clay. I am getting too much of it. I am getting 3 hydrogen gas for every time this recipe is being made, and I have thousands of it to be processed. Let me grab another lens before I climb up. Yeah, I should make it a better length. As you can see from my setup here, I still have almost 2000 bauxite to run. That's like more than 6,000 liters of it. This is oxygen. This is a full tank of it, and I'm not the one that is almost full already. It makes so much hydrogen. No wonder Bear wanted to burn it to generate power. And here I have that setup I said before. I have made the headstone latch from Blue Power. Here I have a bucket meter. That is when it's below 600, it's gonna activate this headstone and switch the setting here. And this one is for when it is completely full. As you see, the biomass is not full, because it was full one time, and now it is getting empty by the methane here. And here I have a shutter and a control cover to disconnect the pipe that feeds the tank. This way, the producer of biomass ethanol and methane, we're going to continue to be full, avoiding to work again until this one activate it and make it start working like crazy. This is for my ethanol. That's almost full. And this here that is getting there. It will sometime get there. CO2 is empty. Glue is almost maximized. And my water, it seems to start to rise now. That both work system that generate more water than consumes are working. Very well. Very well. I also changed some setup here, or should I say created some setup here. I don't remember if I show you this. This is my electrolyzer to make CO2 into oxygen and blocks of carbon. Now that I'm not going to need the carbon to make iron anymore, it's going to be nicely stacked here. Then I have my centrifuge to make latex, and then I will sneak and place the machines behind the other ones because there was space here. And here I have an electrolyzing, that's electrolyzing salt to make the hydroxy sodium, and also to have a little of chlorine stocked up. So if I need, I can just, if I need more chlorine for the future, I can just come here and grab it. And there's going to be to make more aluminum, because we're going to start piling up into the alumina dust. And I am not processing my bauxite at the same time. The blocks of bauxite are also piling up, so aluminum will not be much a problem. And my setup here to process the bauxite, I have a little one that I process the jade gems, but there is a little problem here that I did not notice at the time. There is no place to remove the distilled water it produces, so this is kind of a failure. But since I moved my production of the things to the wall of it, I have this too big space here, so I'm probably gonna move this around here and actually going to split it better and starting into cracking more of my fuel. Still have not decided how I'm gonna process oil and everything. But things are now getting into shape. Our left is to cover this with some stone brick walls. And heavy wall behind my stuff here. So it's not going to be open to the air as it was until ago. I also kind of like how the walls become. They have this little space here, so it has ventilation and you can actually see outside. So it was great to avoid being ambushed by creepers and skeletons when you are playing normal way, not into the coward's way like me that is survival. And 20 iron already made. And bit by bit, as I move things around the place, it's going to get a little more So this is going to be it for this episode. This was Ongot. Thank you so much for watching.